What is good, guys? Soldier Only here from Sports Nerd Web with another episode of Sports Nerd Web Weekly. For today, Tuesday, October. What is today? October 25th. Today is actually the day that Festival of the Lost kicked off today for Destiny. I did hop on it a little bit earlier today before I went to work and messed around with it a little bit. I will be making a video pertaining to that in a little bit that will be posted later on, so stay tuned for that. Also today, the Division 1.4 update went live today as well. My consoles are actually currently downloading it right now, so I'm really eager to jump in and see and check out all the changes for myself. Just to go over some of them again, it's really interesting. I like Division a lot. I played the hell out of it. I put a few hundred hours into that game. I had a lot of fun with it, but eventually it did just really grow stale, and it had a huge player drop off. A huge amount dropped off. It was like something like 80 or 90%. Like, they had a huge drop off. And Ubisoft is actually facing this. It's a pretty similar problem to what Bungie faced with Destiny early on. But with this 1.4 update, Massive Entertainment, they actually had to delay the next DLC, Survival, for this patch, and I think in the long run it's going to be a good thing if this update pans out and it is a lot better. And then for that way, if this does really enhance the quality of life for Division players, and then that way when the Survival DLC drops, it will just be a lot better for everyone. But in this update, they are going to be retooling the enemies die faster. The time to kill on the enemies is going to be way lower. That was one thing that I did hate a lot with the original Division game. I always kind of let it slide a little bit compared to a lot of the other players that I used to play the Division with. I used to kind of just chalk it up to the fact, oh, it's a shooter RPG, so then I kind of let that slide a little bit compared to most people, but eventually it did wear thin, really thin, very fast. And it's also going to be easier to find the right challenge. For instance, like matchmaking into a challenging mission should be a lot better. It says here that the Division did a piss poor job of telling you how tough a lot of its in-game content was before, but there's a new world tier system, and this new system should go a long way toward clearing that up. Once you hit level 30, you'll be able to choose from 4 different world tiers, each of which has enemies scaled toward a certain gear score. Farm up a full set of gear from that tier, and you should be powerful enough to advance to the next one, so on and so forth. That sounds like an amazing idea, and I hope it is really implemented well and that it works out. Grinding for gear is more rewarding. No more farming the same set of bosses in the Dark Zone over and over again unless you're really into that. Ubisoft is giving all enemy NPCs the chance to drop high-end and gear set items, though veterans and elites still have a better chance. And if you want, you can just wander around Manhattan and pick off bad guys in perpetuity. Roaming NPC groups and bosses will now respawn every 4 hours. Finally, a reason to revisit 4/5 of the game's surface area. That is really good news for the simple fact. One complaint I used to hear a lot in my time playing the Division, also, a lot of players were really sick of when you would traverse from one mission or from one area to another, you were running these long stretches of the map and nothing was going on, so you were there was just literally these long stretches of just your character running and nothing going on. I know the empty world was another complaint I used to hear a lot of. So I think that should actually, if there's all these different points in the map, and if there's NPCs and bosses and stuff respawning every 4 hours, that in my mind, that makes it seem like, there's going to be a lot more action and a lot more stuff to do. So I mean, I'm liking a lot of these things. I mean, just theoretically, like I said, I haven't logged in and I haven't played yet since this has gone live. So stay tuned in the future. Maybe tomorrow or the next day or two, I'll maybe make a video or an article on the blog about my early impressions on it. Another thing, re-rolling your gun is less of a gamble. Ubisoft reworked the Division's weapons and associated talents in hopes of making them all more useful and balanced. But you'll probably still get a few stinkers here and there. Thankfully, taking your weapon in for recalibration is now much more helpful. You can choose from 6 different talents instead of just 3, and you still have the option to keep the original talent. Named weapons are special again. Stats make more sense. That's like the difference between stability, horizontal stability, initial bullet stability. It says now they're all going to be one stat now. Update 1.4 does some sorely needed housekeeping for the Division's numbers game, merging several stats into each other and clearing up the logic for others. Damage bonuses now add to each other instead of multiplying, for example, and toughness will take all of your damage resiliency into account. Calculated weapon DPS might be a little more useful too, now that it takes headshot damage into account, but no guarantees. This next one is a really good thing. Weapon skins do not, I repeat, do not take up inventory space. Thank God. That used to drive me nuts. That's awesome that they finally did that. You can also check the game's official website for the full patch notes. And I mean, it goes a lot more detailed into this. I was pulling this off of, just to give credit to the source. This was from GamesRadar.com. I was just reading this real quick, just to make sure, so I had my information correct. Because in all honesty, I've just really been playing a crap load of Destiny, and most of the content I've been creating has been for Destiny, so I haven't really been paying like uber attention to the Division situation. But I'm hoping that this update brings a lot of players back. I really do hope that it does, because like I said, I love the Division. I did have a lot of fun with it before it wore thin with me. So I hope that the player base does come back. I hope that this update I hope they just crush it, and then I hope, because there's still 2 more DLCs planned. There's Survival, and wow, I'm really brain farting this last one. Survival. Oh, I can't. And then there's a third one. I can't remember what it is. I'm brain farting the name right now. I'll have to talk about it in a later one. But yeah, just to close up on the Division thing, like I said, stay tuned, and I'll have my early impressions up on it within the next day or two. But I really hope that it works out. I really do. And I think the quicker time to kill on the enemies is going to be a big improvement, because that used to drive me nuts. So also, just this past Sunday, real quick, The Walking Dead premiered season 7. We finally got to see who Negan killed. Don't worry, if you haven't seen it, I'm not saying anything here, but me and Fuchsia Only and I's podcast that we record and post every Sunday, we didn't get it done this Sunday because of Walking Dead. So I'm going to announce right now, I think we're working on it, but I think that we're going to end up moving it to Monday. We're going to start recording and posting our podcast on Monday. But we're actually going to be possibly recording our podcast tonight on Tuesday, and I'm going to be getting it up as soon as possible. And I'm pretty sure most of the episode will probably be talking about The Walking Dead, and I'll warn you now, that one will have spoilers. That one we will fully dive into that episode. What I will say on it about right now, it is one of the best episodes ever. It is definitely the most, probably definitely the most goriest episode ever. it's yeah, Negan. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week of Sports Nerd Web Weekly. Follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd48 to keep up to date with everything. You can check out the blog at sportsnerdweb.wordpress.com. Also, when you follow me on Twitter, I always tweet out when I go live on my live streams at twitch.tv/soldieronly. And also, I stream a new show. Every time when I start my stream, I record a new show. I post it here on YouTube as well, the new Destiny Unplugged show. I stream that live as well. Eventually I'm gonna turn it into, like, I'll actually have, like, do it certain days and times. Like, I need to get it all scheduled better. I'm really scattered. But thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you like the video. If you want more content, hit that sub button, and we'll see you next time.